Welcome everyone to the Texas Association for College Admission Counseling Virtual College Fair. Thank you so much for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off so the panelists cannot see or hear you. Keep in mind that this is just one of many different sessions happening. We have a whole nother night tomorrow, so please be sure to sign up for additional sessions. And this presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at strivescan.com/Texas. Now for the most important part, I'd like it to turn it over to our expert university representatives here with us today. We're going to kick off today's event with Kalamazoo College. Whenever you're ready.
All right, hello everyone. I am going to share my screen quickly so that you guys get to see all of the very cool information that I have. Hello, yes, my name is Madeline. I am the admission counselor for Southern Texas from Kalamazoo College. So I'd like to share a little bit about Kalamazoo with you right now. First off, I'd like to share where we are located. So Kalamazoo is located in Kalamazoo, Michigan. So we are a little bit up north compared to Texas. As you can see from this map, we are located about 2.5 hours from Chicago and about 2 hours from Detroit. And the Kalamazoo area, I know it's not quite as big as Chicago, but it is a medium-sized city. We see about over 250,000 people in the metropolitan area. And Kalamazoo is fortunate enough to be a very college town, simply because just in the area, we have over 30,000 college students. So Kalamazoo, the city, very collegey, very close to Lake Michigan, and very, kind of Midwestern Michigan. A little bit about Kalamazoo College, though. So we do not have 30,000 students. We are a small liberal arts college. We've only got about 1,500 students total. It breaks down to about 400 first-year students, 400 sophomores, so on and so forth. Even though we are a very tiny campus, we do see a lot of diversity on campus. We get a lot of students from in-state, out of state. As you can see, we've got about 34% domestic student of color, about 7% international students, students of all sorts of socioeconomic backgrounds, religious affiliations, LGBTQIA+ identifications, much more. We really try to make sure our campus reflects the world around us rather than just the community in Southwest Michigan. And because we are so small comparatively, it really means that you're going to have a much more intimate class size. So the average class is about 18 students. It does range, though, depending on department. I've had business classes where, including me, there are 40 of us. And then on the flip side, I've had German classes where, including me, there are 6 of us. So it does range, but 18 is roughly average. And it really allows for the professor to get to know you and for you to have that really one-on-one kind of education and that individualization working on campus, which leads to a lot of very happy students with high retention and 4-year graduation rates. We have this thing at Kalamazoo College called the K Plan, and it's basically our guide for our students to navigate their 4 years. And there's 4 main components. The first is the rigorous and flexible academics. And this is going to look like our open curriculum. So here at Kalamazoo College, you as the student are in charge of picking which classes you want to take. So if you are super passionate about biology and chemistry, maybe not so much about the history and language, that's okay, because you can focus on those STEM courses. You don't necessarily have to take courses you're not interested in. Or if you're not 100% sure what you want to study, you have that room to figure out if you like political science, if you like philosophy or computer science or something like that. You have that flexibility. Second component of the K Plan is the hands-on education. So that's going to be the practical real world experience that we want you to get. So jobs on campus, off campus, career and professional development of all different sorts, like internships or workshops. It's going to be volunteer programs or social justice and human rights programs that we offer, whether they be conferences or people, experts coming to campus and talking about their area of expertise. So lots of ways to really build your resume and get you ready for once you leave Kalamazoo. The third component of the K plan is the international and intercultural experience, and that's going to be study abroad and study away programs. So here at Kalamazoo College, we have over 56 study abroad programs going to over 29 different countries, all the continents except Antarctica. Even for us Michiganders, it's a little too cold. But essentially, we want you to be able to travel and explore. The fourth component of the K plan is the independent scholarship, which looks at basically our senior thesis and getting you to create a project depicting something you are passionate about or something you may want to pursue as a career. So we offer a bunch of different scholarships here at Kalamazoo College, but some I really like to highlight are our Lux Esto Scholarship, which is our largest. Every student who applies to Kalamazoo College is automatically reviewed for it. We're going to look at your GPA, your Common App, and your essay. When you apply, you will apply through the Common App. We are a Common App exclusive school, and we're going to award you a scholarship between $20,000 and $36,000 per year. We also have the Enlightened Leadership Award Scholarship, which is a scholarship focusing more on music and theater. That's going to be about $5,000 per year or about $20,000 total. And we also provide need-based assistance. So please, if you haven't heard of the free application for federal student aid, the FAFSA, please, please, please fill it out. Doesn't matter if you go to Kalamazoo College or somewhere else, it'll definitely be a really good resource to help continue making sure Kalamazoo is more affordable, or wherever you go. So that was a little summary. If you're interested in learning more, there are several ways to connect. We are offering in-person tours, virtual visits. We have virtual open houses, visit the zoo for admitted students. And you can always connect with one of us counselors. This is my email, and I'll also put it in the chat. Please feel free to connect with us. Oh, and that was my timer. So thank you guys so much. I look forward to connecting and hopefully answering some questions. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kalamazoo College. We're now going to move on to Kettering University. Take it away.
My name is Delynn Pollock, and I'm an admissions counselor and co-op manager here at Kettering University. I do have a QR code here, so if you would be interested in being part of our mailing list, feel free to use the QR code. I have it on my screen, and also I will have it at the end of the presentation as well. So a little bit of information about Kettering University. We are laser focused on STEM and business education. As you can see, our classes, our degree programs are definitely targeted towards STEM. We also have a pre-med course of study that you can add on to these degree programs if you have an interest in that area as well. Something that sets Kettering apart very much is the fact that in addition to those very STEM-focused degree programs, we have a totally integrated cooperative education program. So what happens with our students is that they are co-oping throughout the entire program. So co-op is a bit different than internships. Many students are familiar with internships. Internships are typically something that you do towards the end of a degree program. Quite often it's not something that is required of students. It is also something that quite often at universities you are also in the process of having to find yourself. At Kettering, co-op is a requirement. It is something that's completely built into the program. We actually have students attending class on a rotational basis where they spend 3 months in class and then 3 months on the job working in a real job for a real company in their field of interest. This gives them an opportunity to try out that degree, to try out the classes that they've been learning in a real world setting. And it gives them a chance to also earn money to use back towards their tuition, because these are real jobs. So we essentially have two student bodies. Half of the students are at school while the other half are out working, applying what they've been learning in the classroom during their 3 months of co-op. And this starts as early as the freshman year. Most of our students are starting in their freshman year with their co-op. And the typical student is earning between $45,000 and $70,000 through the program. You do co-op with the same company throughout the program typically, which gives you an opportunity to increase responsibility levels, and to at the end of your degree program you will do a capstone so that you can really put together the academics and the hands-on experiences, and it's something that's helpful for you and for your company as well. So these are just some of the companies that we work with. We started life as General Motors Institute way back in the early 1900s. We obviously are working with many more companies than GM at this point in a lot of different industries, but you may be familiar with us in that automotive industry. And we certainly do still work with the automotive industry, but we're in a lot of other areas as well. We are recognized #1 nationally for career preparation, and that is because of that strong hands-on experience that our students are getting. And the typical student is finishing up and starting with a $85,000 a year job. And so you see that that return on investment is something that happens right away for our students. We are looking for very strong math and science students, definitely looking for students who have an interest in that STEM area. 2 years of algebra, a year of geometry, semester of trigonometry, 3 years of English. We also require at least 2 years of lab science from high school. We do look for chemistry or physics. We recommend that you have both. We do not require test scores this year and coming up this next year because of the situation that's happened with COVID. So I'm sure that that's typical with a lot of universities. But if you do decide to take the tests, that is something that we will consider with your application. And of course, letters of recommendation are optional as well. In terms of campus life, we have a residence hall that you're required to live in your freshman year. Afterwards, you can move off campus. We have a very active student body. It's just kind of the nature of the student body. They are people who come out of high school very active and they continue that on our campus. A lot of students are involved with Greek life. If that's not what you're interested in, there are many other opportunities for clubs and intramural sports. We have amazing lab facilities, about 27,000 feet of lab research and research space. We are predominantly an undergrad institution, so you have a chance to be involved with research as an undergrad student in, for example, the Mobility Research Center. We have a FIRST community center, so if you are someone who's come out of a robotics program, you will have an opportunity to be involved with that on our campus. And the Student Automotive Engineering Club is very, very active, and they do very well on the national scale competitively. We are located in Flint, Michigan, which is the birthplace of the automotive industry. We're very proud of that heritage, and we're very proud of the revitalization of this area that we've been a part of, frankly. So definitely a great place to come visit for anyone who's interested in STEM, but particularly if you're someone who's interested in automotive. That is the bread and butter and the heart of our program. And of course, we are, as I said, into many other industries as well. So this is the QR code. Once again, I would be happy to talk more about the program with anyone who has an interest. And we have some amazing pre-college programs for any of the underclassmen who are out there and interested in finding out a little bit more about Kettering in that way. And a lot of these programs are now virtual. So coming from a distance, this is one of the advantages of going to a virtual delivery system for some of these programs. It's really allowed it to give access to students from distance away. So thank you so much. And I am ready to finish up.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Kettering University. That was fantastic. We're now going to move to Macalester College.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jace Riggin. I use he, him, as well as they, them pronouns. I'm an admission officer here at Macalester College, and I work with students from Texas. Very excited that you've joined us for the program this evening. Macalester is a Minnesota liberal arts college of about 2,200 students, and we're located in the heart of the Twin Cities metropolitan area. We are,
I'm sorry, I just wanted to let you know we don't see a presentation.
Oh, no worries. Let me try that again. Perfect. Can you see it now?
There it is. Yes, great.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Awesome. We are a liberal arts college of about 2,200 students, and we're located in the heart of the Twin Cities metropolitan area. We are a mission-driven institution, and we're grounded in our values of academic excellence, multiculturalism, internationalism, as well as service to society. We're not afraid to say who we are, and in fact, our mission and our ethos are the primary reason why many students choose to apply and ultimately enroll at Macalester. It is because of our location in Minnesota, as well as the Twin Cities metropolitan area, that Macalester is one of very few colleges located in an urban metropolitan center of about 3.5 million people. Our campus is about 4 miles away from downtown St. Paul and 7 miles from downtown Minneapolis. I live over on the Minneapolis side of the river. Although our student body is on the smaller side, we have access to over 200 internship sites within just 8 miles of campus. An international airport under 10 miles away, just a 20-minute light rail ride, and an array of Fortune 500 companies, including Target as well as 3M. I'm sure you've probably heard of those too. You'll also notice on this slide a few of Minnesota's famous musicians, Prince, as well as Bob Dylan and Lizzo. Yes, Texans and Houstonians, you share Lizzo with St. Paul. She got her start here in St. Paul in a downtown recording studio and frequented First Ave, a downtown venue over on the Minneapolis side of the metropolitan area where Prince visited during his time. We have a killer punk scene in the Twin Cities, and our music venues and festivals are fantastic. Thinking about our campus community at Macalester, things are a bit different here. We are a global and multicultural community. In the past few incoming classes, roughly 35% of our students identified as Black, Indigenous, or as people of color, BIPOC. And in our most recent incoming class, the class of 2024, that number was 41%. Additionally, about 16% of all Macalester students are the first in their families ever to attend college. I'd also like to note that our LGBTQ+ community is vibrant. Internationalism as well as global citizenship are not new values to Macalester. Mac's longstanding and enduring commitment to this part of our mission trace all the way back to our president, Turk, who was a World War II veteran and raised the UN flag from our central flagpole, where it's flown since 1950. Currently, about 15% of our student body are international students. There are 98 countries of citizenships represented on our campus, and our student body collectively speaks 75 different languages. I'd like to draw your eyes to some of the fast facts here on the screen. The Twin Cities is a great place for internships as well as career exploration. We're home to the state capitol, numerous NGOs, CBOs, and other grassroots organizations. We offer on average 200+ academic 4-credit internships each year within just 8 miles of our campus. These opportunities are not just limited to the academic year and exist across the entirety of the summer and winter break. I want to highlight that we are a liberal arts and sciences institution. 40% of all of our students major in a STEM-based major, and 60% of those students conduct either independent or collaborative research with a faculty member. And we're a strictly undergraduate institution. You are never competing for research opportunities with any graduate students. We're a member of the Mayo Innovation Scholar Program, which, if you're familiar with Mayo Clinic, it's one of the nation's leading innovative clinics and medical providers in the country. And I just want to make sure before we move on, you know that research is not just limited to STEM students. 80% of all Macalester students complete some type of research project before they graduate. We are, like I mentioned, a liberal arts institution, which means that at Macalester, in addition to your chosen major, you'll have a broad base of study. You explore the natural sciences, the social sciences, the arts, the humanities, as well as mathematics. The two most distinctive pieces at Macalester relate to our mission. In order to graduate, you must complete an internationalism requirement, either studying away or a course that meets those requirements, and a course fulfilling our US identities and differences requirement. This is a course that grapples with the history of who's benefited at whose expense within our nation. It's really easy to be involved at Macalester. I'm running out of time, so I do want to show you our application deadlines. I just want to note lots of specialty housings. We are an NCAA Division III institution, so athletics are available at Mac. There are multiple ways to apply. We are a very selective institution, about 32% acceptance rate. However, our early decision and early action options are options for students who are very committed and know Macalester is their top choice. This produces somewhere between a 60 and more of a 50% admittance rate due to students in the early decision round committing to come to Macalester, and in the regular decision round taking advantage of, and early action round taking advantage of non-binding options. Lastly, I'd like to note that we are test optional. There is no application fee to apply to Macalester, and we meet 100% of demonstrated need. We work incredibly hard to make sure that a Macalester education is affordable and accessible to all families. Please go to our website. You'll need the FAFSA that was mentioned before, as well as the CSS profile to apply for aid at Macalester College. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to hand it back to the facilitator.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Macalester College. We are now going to head back to Michigan and kick it off to Michigan State University.
Okay, I think I'm sharing my screen. My name is Aspen Arnold. I am the Regional Admissions Counselor for Michigan State University. I think I'm the only one on today that is based in Texas. So I am located in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and make trips all across the state pretty frequently. Hopefully get to see all of you at your high schools this next fall. Michigan State is located in East Lansing, Michigan. We are a large public institution with just under 50,000 total students on our campus. We're one of the 10 largest institutions in the nation, where our student body is made up of students from all 50 states, including Texas, and more than 140 different countries. What I'm really proud of in our student body makeup is the fact that almost 25% of our incoming class identified as first generation college students. And last year we welcomed the most diverse freshman class in our history, which really just shows how true we stay to our land grant mission. Like I said, Michigan State's in East Lansing, Michigan. From our campus, it's easy to access the beaches of Lake Michigan and find areas to hike, kayak, and even ski. That doesn't mean we're a truly rural campus. However, we're only 3 miles from Lansing, which is the capital of Michigan, and about an hour and a half outside of Detroit. So for those of you that are traveling from Texas, it's easy to access our campus by flying directly to Detroit, hopping on the Michigan Flyer that will take you from the airport to our campus. I also find that our students will take full advantage of being only 4 hours away from Chicago, and the fact that we have an Amtrak station on our campus that will take students there for internships or job opportunities after they graduate. This is often the point where I like to point out to Texas students that the climate in Michigan is a little bit different than here in Texas. You're going to find a full 4 seasons when you get there, and I promise you, if you buy your boots and a warm jacket, you will make it through. Our campus itself is located on the banks of the Red Cedar River. Campus itself is home to botanical gardens, art museums, performance venues, Big Ten athletics, recreation sports facilities, and even our own hotel. Our students can choose from over 900 student organizations to get involved in. You're going to find things from multicultural organizations, sororities and fraternities, intramural sports, academic clubs, and service projects. You'll be exposed to all of these opportunities to get involved as soon as you step foot on our campus. Whether you're completely undecided about your degree path, have comfortably declared a major, or you fall somewhere in between, MSU is a destination where you truly can explore multiple different academic programs. We offer over 200 majors across 17 different degree granting colleges. I often see Texas students coming to and applying to Michigan State for the Eli Broad College of Business, our College of Engineering, or College of Natural Sciences and their associated pre-health programs. You'll also find a law school as well as 3 medical schools, including one of the top veterinary schools in the nation on our campus. As a top 100 university, we're home to 35 undergraduate programs that rank in the top 25 nationally. What makes MSU's academic programs stand out to me is not these high-ranking programs, although we do have that if that's what you're looking for. But to me, what's really important about our academic paths is the flexibility that we have for our students to accommodate all of their interests. We truly are a destination for students who look to explore and experiment across academic disciplines, whether that means you want to double major or do research or take classes outside of your major, and those opportunities are available on our campus. We may be a Big Ten campus, but we also break down our programs so that you receive the support you would expect at a smaller institution. Our student to faculty ratio is 16:1, and 84% of our classes have fewer than 50 students. We have established living and learning communities across our campus so that you can find students with similar interests. And as an out-of-state student, I would highly recommend you explore those opportunities. Of course, as a large institution, you'll find education abroad and undergraduate research on our campus. We're also home to the nation's oldest honors college. So when you're applying to Michigan State, please know that there are so many opportunities for you to learn both in and outside of the classroom. Applying to MSU is pretty easy. You'll apply in August of your senior year. Our application goes live in early August. And we do a holistic review for the application process. So we'll need your official high school transcript. We'll also look at an essay when you can submit that through our own application, the common application, or the coalition application. We will remain test optional. So for any of you underclassmen, you don't have to worry about ACT or SAT scores. That's totally up to you if you'd like to submit those. And letters of recommendation are optional as well. You will be automatically considered, like I said, for the Honors College, as well as academic scholarships. So 98% of our Texas students will come to MSU with some type of financial aid and scholarship. We're closed. Well, we are now actually operating on a 25% capacity for tours, but we have great virtual options. And like I said, I'm in Texas and happy to meet individually with any of you via Zoom if you have questions about Michigan State. But with that, I think we're at time. Thanks so much for joining.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Michigan State University. We are going to head now to Northern Michigan University, whenever you're ready.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, Erica, I believe you're muted.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. We'll try this again. My name's Erica. I'm from Northern. I can't see you, but I'm really glad you guys are here today. So thanks for coming and adapting to this virtual setting. So Northern is located in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan along the shores of Lake Superior. Just one moment. Thank you. So we're in right along the shores of Lake Superior. Our natural setting makes for amazing outdoor experiences, academic and recreational all year round. And many of our students love the outdoors, but you don't have to in order to study here. Marquette is a safe, friendly, and welcoming community, and we do offer flights directly from Minneapolis, Detroit, and Chicago. And we are a place that celebrates all 4 seasons, so that's good to know, as you already got a picture from MSU. So we're a mid-sized institution, so we're large enough where you have a lot of programs to choose from, a strong alumni network, connections around the world, and nice facilities, but small enough where you have small class sizes and your professors know your name. The average class size is about 28. The average lab and seminar sizes are about 15. This all gives your professors the ability to get to know you on a personal level, which results in mentorship and guidance as you move through your experience at Northern and onto whatever it is you're going to do next, whether that's graduate school or joining the professional world or whatever. So we have just over 170 different academic programs to choose from. So we have popular programs that relate to our natural setting, like fisheries and wildlife management, environmental studies and sustainability, but also things like nursing, art and design, criminal justice, sports science, and a large array of business programs, as well as medicinal plant chemistry, which is the first of its kind in the nation, and indoor agriculture, which nicely complements that. So regardless of what you're studying, you're going to get hands-on experience right away to help you find out what you love so that you can get more specific, and what you hate so you can change your mind and shift to the right program that's the right fit. But you're working with real people in real settings, real professional settings, with real equipment and resources, and in the real world. And the idea is that you leave Northern well prepared to take your next steps into grad school, into your professional career, into finding out what it is you're going to do next. So I did want to mention, for students who are looking at this fall, Northern was face-to-face this fall and is face-to-face this current semester for many of our classes. And we've made face-to-face instruction a priority for our first-year students. So let's talk about student life. I already mentioned that students are outside all year round. So they're hiking, biking, rock climbing, ice climbing, surfing, sailing, camping. But again, you don't have to like the outdoors to thrive here. There's tons going on inside too. So we have over 300 student organizations, academic and non-academic, to choose from. There's leadership programs, some that are credit bearing and come with a stipend. There are community service and volunteer opportunities. All of these are a huge part of student identity at Northern. And of course, under normal circumstances, there are also events happening on campus that are going to keep you busy as a spectator or a participant. So art, sports, ranging from esports to football, you name it. What's most important to us at Northern in our community is that we're safe, we're welcoming, regardless of your experience, background, identity, or beliefs. Let's talk about money. This is an important topic, especially right now, I think. So for our out-of-state students, our tuition and fee, room and board amounts to about $28,300. But the average financial aid package for our out-of-state students is around $19,400. So it's very affordable. Scholarships that we offer in the financial aid package can include things like our National Academic Award, which brings that out-of-state rate much closer to in-state, as well as our Wildcat Achievement Award. This year, we're awarding these scholarships with and without test scores. So Northern is actually now test blind, which means moving forward, we're not even gonna look at your test scores when you apply if you submit them, and we are not gonna use them for awarding scholarships. We also offer competitive scholarship opportunities, including our Presidential Scholars Competition, with awards ranging from $1,000 to a full ride. And then we have other free money opportunities as well. So we'd really love for you to come visit. We have virtual visits, but we actually just opened up our on-campus visits through August. So we have limited capacity, but we're doing our best to help people get to campus because we know how important that is when you make your decision. We think that if you kind of come and check stuff out, you'll get to know whether Northern is the right fit for you or not. That's what we all want here in this presentation, all of the presenters. We want you to find the right place for you because that school is out there. So come experience this place for yourself, however you're able to do that, virtual or on campus. If you'd like to get more information, you can scan this QR code here. But again, my name is Erica and I work with students from Texas, and my job is to help you through this process. So I'd really love to hear from you. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. It was great to learn more about Northern Michigan University. We're now going to close out our presentations with the University of Michigan. Go ahead and take it away.
All right, thank you so much for having me. And good evening to you all. My name is Jenna McCormick. I am an admissions counselor at the University of Michigan, and I also serve as the territory counselor for all schools in Texas. So I am very excited to be meeting with you guys to talk about the University of Michigan. This map here just shows you where all of our students are coming from. The University of Michigan is a large public research institution. And we have students from all 50 states, and we have students from over 120 different countries. And about 12% of our undergraduate population, which is about almost 30,000 students, is first generation. So we are a school that has a huge commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we are working to increase a first generation population, our socioeconomic diversity on campus. So we are really excited about that. And then as you see here, this chart or this graph on the right of your screen will show you the ethnic background of our students. We are working to become a more diverse institution with each class that we bring in. And then just a quick academic overview of the University of Michigan. We are an academic powerhouse. We have over 280 different degree programs that you can pursue at the University of Michigan. We have 19 schools and colleges that make up the University of Michigan. And of those 19, 14 are available to you all as undergraduate students. But of the 14, there are 7 that admit first-year students. So when you apply to the University of Michigan, you will be choosing one of our 7 schools and colleges to be selected or considered for in the admissions process. Our student to faculty ratio is 15:1, and about 87% of our classes have fewer than 50 students. Now, I'm not going to paint a rosy picture for you. The majority of our first year lectures, like your intro to biology, intro to chemistry, are going to have about 400 students in that large lecture hall. However, throughout the week, there are mandatory discussion sections that you will have to attend that are taught by a graduate student instructor, and they're broken down to about 30 of your fellow peers from that same course, and you'll be able to break down the material in a smaller setting. ask questions that you maybe didn't get to ask in the lecture, and it really does provide for a smaller academic environment. In addition to that, our math and foreign language courses are capped at 18 students for first-year students because we do recognize that those courses might require a little bit more one-on-one attention. So we do cap those at 18 students. As I mentioned before, these are the 7 schools and colleges that are available to you as a first-year applicant. First, we have the College of Literature, Science, and the Arts. That is our liberal arts college, followed by the College of Engineering, the School of Nursing, the School of Kinesiology, the School of Art and Design, the School of Music, Theater, and Dance, and finally, the College of Architecture and Urban Planning. So on your application, you can select either one of these units to be considered for in your application. Now, the application process is pretty straightforward. We are members of both the coalition application and the common application. So we don't have a preference for which one you decide to submit. If you do have questions about that, we do encourage you to reach out to your high school guidance counselor and they can provide you with the best information on how to proceed or which application could be the best fit for you. At the foundation of our review, it is a holistic review and it is highly individualized. So we will only consider you within the context of your high school. So your counselor, as part of the application, is going to send in something called the school report that will allow us to get a nice overview of your academic environment. So you will only be compared to the students applying from your specific high school. You will not be compared to any other student applying up here in Michigan, any student in any other school across the country. At the foundation of our review is going to be your grades, your curriculum, and then we're also going to be assessing you for a campus fit. And the best way to do that is going to be through your extracurriculars and your essays. In previous years, we used to require test scores, but we have gone test optional, and that will likely be the case for this upcoming application cycle. But for our holistic review process, your application will be read multiple times by different people. So as your admissions counselor, I will be one of the people who will be reviewing your application along with a few of my other colleagues to make sure that you are getting that comprehensive review. I'm talking about the University of Michigan in terms of research. If you are passionate about research, then the University of Michigan will be an excellent fit for you. We are ranked #1 in the country for public research, and we have over 1,300 undergraduate students that do participate in research each year. And we also have a program called UROP, which is the Undergraduate Research Opportunity Program. This is a program that you will have to apply into, but if you are admitted, you can begin conducting research your first year at the University of Michigan, no matter what your major is. So as you can see here, we have music students who are pursuing research, students in the School of Art and Design, students in our School of Kinesiology. It literally does not matter what your major is. There's always a way for you to conduct research. If you're not admitted to the UROP program, you can always reach out to your professor. Our professors are always doing independent research, and they're always looking for students to help them and collaborate with them on the research that they are doing. In terms of residence life, we do not require our students to live on campus their first year, but it is highly encouraged. And 97% of our first year students do live in one of our 18 residence halls. We highly recommend living in the residence halls because it's the best way to meet new people. And you're never far from a dining hall. And also, in addition to that, we do have living and learning programs, which we call MLCs, for Michigan Learning Communities. And we have 22 of those, and they allow you to live and learn with students who have the same or similar academic interests and personal interests. And so it's also a great way to meet new people. One of our most popular MLCs is WISE, which is Women in Science and Engineering. And then we also have the Health Sciences Scholars Program. So just wrapping up, talking a little bit about Ann Arbor in general. Ann Arbor is just an amazing place to be. We are ranked #5 for college, town, and city. Also ranked #4 for best places to live. So I do want to skip a couple of slides and then also share with you my contact information. I am, again, your territory counselor, and there is my email address. I will also drop it in the chat. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, University of Michigan, and thank you to all of our university representatives who are telling us about their amazing campuses today. I'm going to share my screen quickly and ask for all of our representatives to go ahead and turn on their cameras. And we're going to move on to a short Q&A where we learn a little bit more about our experts' advice. So the question is, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? And we're going to go ahead and go with the same order that we kicked off today with, heading back to Kalamazoo College.
Awesome. Thank you. That's a great question. And I think my number one piece of advice is when you are trying to figure out a college or institution that's the best fit for you, definitely ask questions to your admission counselor or your admission team. You've met all of us now. Hopefully, we're not too terribly scary or anything like that, but we're super available to try and connect with you, to answer your questions, to really just be there to help you through this process, because it's a very overwhelming process, especially as a first generation student, or maybe a student taking care of, job responsibilities or whatever other responsibilities you have. It's a lot on your plate. So utilize us. We are all here for you to help you through this process. So that's my piece of advice.
Wonderful. Thank you. Kettering University, what's your advice?
My advice, I think, is particular to the environment that we're in right now. I think a lot of universities have gone to having a lot of virtual programming available for students, which has made campuses far more accessible to students from a distance. So take advantage of this time. Take advantage of those programs that are offered. I know that we're all tired of sitting in front of a computer, but this is important research for you to be doing. And there are some great programs that have been offered. I know at Kettering, we have many, many opportunities to interact with student ambassadors, to talk with faculty members, and to just find out more about campuses, and much more so than ever in the past, other than having the ability to come to campus, which unfortunately I know that that's not always an option for students right now. But take advantage of these opportunities of virtual programming that are available right now. That would be my biggest advice at this point.
Great and timely tips. Thank you. Macalester College?
Mine has to do with the whole sense of belonging or fit aspect of the college search. Don't change yourself for a college. If you're having to change yourself, it's not the right place. Be you. We want to get to know you, and we want to welcome you to each of our institutions because you're who you are. And so be you in your process and look for colleges that feel like home in some sense, or challenge you in another sense. That's my advice.
Great advice. I think I saw everyone shaking their head there in agreement. Michigan State University, what's your advice?
So that was a lot nicer advice than what mine was going to be. So I'm glad you got to touch on the nice feelings, because I think my biggest advice would be to stay organized. And to remember important deadlines. You've heard from some of us talk about early decision or early action deadlines. There's only so much we can do for you as long as you're meeting those, right? And so it's really important to stay organized. I always suggest that students create a spreadsheet. Not that that's like a pretty thing to talk about, right? But create a spreadsheet where you can put in information about each of those schools and important deadlines and documents that you're sending. Because as much as we want to go above and beyond and support you as your admissions counselors, that can only go so far as long as you're doing what's expected. So don't be the student, and my sister is the student who texts and says, is it at 12 a.m. on my time zone or for the university that I'm applying for as time zone? So be cognizant of those.
That's great advice as well. Thank you so much, Michigan State University. Northern Michigan University, what's your advice?
I would go a little bit off of what we've all talked about, fit. And the reason it's so important is that if the institution is the right fit for you, you're going to do really well there. So we have all these things that we can offer you, but if you're not happy and you don't feel connected and you don't feel like you're part of the community, you're not going to do as well as if you have been. So when you check out these institutions and you visit and you check out campuses, I think paying attention to your gut is good, because sometimes you'll get this feeling of, this is not the place for me, or sometimes it'll be like, this feels right. And I think that's a good thing to factor in, not the only thing, but a good thing to factor into your decision.
Fantastic. Thank you for that tip. And University of Michigan, what is your advice?
I would say my biggest piece of advice is to use the essays to your advantage. The essays is probably the biggest piece that I stress in my high school visits. Because a lot of schools don't do interviews, the University of Michigan being one of them. So the best way for us to get to know you is through your essays. So talking about something that we wouldn't know if we were just reading your application, or speaking about different topics in your essays. That's also something that I stress as well. If I'm reading your extracurriculars and I see that you're involved in dance, and then you write your personal essay about dance, and then you write your community essay about dance, then I don't really get to see many sides of you. And so one of the parts of the application review is campus fit. So you want to make sure you're putting your best foot forward and using those essays to your advantage.
Awesome. Well, I think that we are so fortunate to have all of your tips and tricks here. You all really covered the entire college search process. So thank you so much for being here and sharing your expertise. And thank you to all of our attendees who were able to join today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with one final little wrap up here. And of course, the most important of that is we hope you enjoyed this session and that you got a lot out of it. We want to thank you for being here, whether that's live with us right now or catching the replay. Please do know that when you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey, and we would appreciate any feedback that you can provide on today's event. Please also keep in mind that this is just one of many sessions being hosted, so please sign up for additional sessions which are taking place tomorrow evening. Then in about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other session recordings at strivescan.com/Texas. All right, everyone, thank you so much and have a wonderful day, night, morning, evening, wherever you are when you're catching this recording. Take care. Bye-bye.